So the first thing you'll need to do is raise your hood. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Behind me is my 1990 Mazda Miata. It's got a bunch of upgrades, obviously. If you don't know the story behind this Miata, me and Wyatt have built this car from when he got it to how it is now. And I do have plans for another engine going into this Miata, but I'll announce that later because it's a whole series. But today I'm not here to talk about that. Today I'm here to talk about a issue that I'm having with the thermostat housing. There's this little nipple that comes off the thermostat housing. It has a separate nipple. It's almost like a Y, but it's got a 90 and a straight. And it goes into the bottom of the thermostat housing and it redirects fluid or antifreeze or water to a different location on the engine. The nipple on mine is actually broke off because of corrosion. It is a very old part. It is a 90s model. So of course you're gonna have that piece break off. The part itself is not expensive, it's about 70 bucks. But you do have to take off the valve cover, the timing gears, pull the timing belt, pull the timing gears off, pull the timing cover off in order to get to 2 bolts behind all of that to replace it. I would do that. I just want to make that clear. I would do that. I have another motor, another 1.6 with the same parts, a good part on it. I would 100% pull that part off and put it on this motor. However, I'm not going to keep this motor in the car very long. That being said, I want to show you guys an inexpensive way to fix this issue in order to get back on the road. And what I have today, from what I read in the forums, is JB Weld and little fittings, little Y fittings. I'll give you guys a closer look at that. Comes with a 1/4, 5/16, and a 3/8. You are going to need the 1/4 because it's just a small hole. And then I'll show you guys how to use the JB Weld to put it in. This is essentially what you're looking at here is this nipple. And then it's got this line that runs into it. And there's supposed to be a small nipple, which is right here, obviously broke off. And yeah, so what you need to do is cut this first. Get the hoses off, cut this flush. Just how big that part is that broke off. Like I said, it had a lot of corrosion. And yeah, split off pretty solid. And this is what you're going to be looking at on the inside of it. Again, just a small closer look. Or if I can get like a better, yeah. If you haven't seen the videos where I built this car before, this car was supposed to be a slow build with a different engine in mind. However, the car that I was daily driving at the time actually started knocking. And so therefore I had to get this car on the road as fast as possible. And this is what it ended up being. I threw a 1.6 in it as quick as possible. And we got it on the road as quick as possible, as you can see. This 1.6 has done me very well. It got me everywhere. I daily drove this car for probably a year or two before I actually sold it to Wyatt, and then I bought it back from Wyatt. Wyatt only put 100 miles on it, but he did put some upgrades to the car to help it run a little better. Again, I don't want to spoil what motor we're putting in the car, but it is going to be a really cool build. I wanted to use the most basic tools that you could use so that way you guys can do this at home without needing all the expensive tools that you need in order to do this. You don't really need an expensive tool to do this, but a Sawzall would be awesome. You just chop right through it. But if you needed to, you could use just this little hand hacksaw that you can get at any Lowe's or anywhere like that. This is what it's going to look like. That's the piece that broke off, and then that's the piece I just chopped off. You want to chop it off as clean as possible in order, look how corroded it was already, like at the top right here. So yeah, you want to chop that off as about as clean as possible as you can. All right, I've got it to where you can get it in and out. So what I'm gonna do next is put the JB Weld around this, stick it in, and then put it into position, and I'm gonna use a clamp to hold it in and let it dry. I think you should use 24 hours as a good like starting point for this thing to dry, because you want this thing where it's not leaking. So if you don't know how to mix JB Weld, I'll just give you like a bit of a quick tutorial on how to do it. It is not a complicated process at all. My camera keeps moving, I'm sorry. It's not a complicated process at all. It's pretty easy. However much black you put out, the white you put out the same, and then you just mix it until it is gray, like a gray color. And if it doesn't get like too gray, then you just put some more mixture. Alright, so that looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do is put it around the part and then shove her in there. I'm gonna put a decent amount, so that way, like, I know it's gonna seal off pretty good. Just make sure the camera angle is right. Oh my goodness, my stupid phone. All right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna get a clamp and clamp it real quick. All right, so I couldn't get the clamp to work, so I just grabbed some good old-fashioned zip ties. Again, just trying to use the most basic things that you guys can find in your shop or your garage or around your house or whatever. So zip ties is going to be the best thing to use for this. Again, I'm going to let this dry for 24 hours, and then we'll hook everything up and see if it holds. And if you guys need to find some sealant to put on it, I would recommend Ultra Black, because that's what I'm gonna get. Some Ultra Black and put it around there. It'll seal it off and you'll be good to go. All right, back with day 2. I ran the autos on. I went ahead and got a new thermostat, a new gasket. You will need this because it will peel. And I got some Ultra Black just in case, but I just checked this. You know, I put a zip tie on it before we left, and I just checked it. The new water thing I put on it, and it seems pretty solid. So I think it worked. And I want to be as clear as possible. I did this with the most basic hand tools that you could get anywhere. Walmart, Harbor Freight, wherever you desire you get your tools, Snap-on truck, wherever. But you could do this with the most basic tools. The only thing I used was an impact to take out the 2 bolts to the thermostat. It was like bam, bam. But they would have came off with the ratchet and a socket, so it's no big deal. All right, so let's take this zip tie off and check the strength real quick. I want to make sure you guys can see it. So it's pretty strong. There's no movement. It doesn't look like there's any air pockets in there, and it's pretty sealed on the inside. I'll give you guys a bit of a closer look here. And then on the inside, it looks pretty sealed off. Put the thermostat in it and then bolt everything up and see if it holds water. Now all that's done and put back together, I'm gonna start filling it up with water and see if she'll hold. And then I did buy a small tube of Ultra Black just in case. I can put it on there and hopefully it'll hold it up until we get the new motor in it. Because like I said, I don't daily drive this car. This car is just for up and down the road runs with friends and occasionally taking it out to eat or whatever. So I don't drive this car every day. I have a daily driver. So it's no big deal. This modification is not a permanent modification. It's only to get you by. So you don't have to pull those cam gears off with the car to make sure the car is in time, put it back on, because it's a big job doing all that. So yeah, this should just get you by. Well, there's no leaks. I didn't even have to put Ultra Black on it yet. So it looks like it's running really good. I've let the thermostat open up, fans kicked on, everything's normal. So yeah, if you have that little piece that messed up, you can actually do this. It's a 1/4 little T piece, brass. Drill it out, drill that little insert out, sticks right in, put some JB Weld on it, seals right up. All right, I got it cut off. I'm gonna take it for a little bit of a spin down the road and back and see how it performs. It's running pretty good, staying pretty cool. I'm gonna check for leaks when I get back, but it's running pretty good. Well, that's awesome. There's no leaks. It held up really good. And yeah, temperature's holding strong, running really good, which has always run good. So yeah, that's a bit of like a redneck tip, I guess, to do. Just like that brass tee and put it in there and use it as, you know, a water inlet or whatever, but it's working really good. I will update you guys on this. I'm only going to drive this for a little bit, but in that time frame, I will let you guys know if it held up or not, and not to do it or to do it or whatever, but as of right now, it works. I drove it pretty hard down through there, so it's working really good. If you want to know more about this car, let me know in the comments, and I'll you know, give you more information about it, what we're doing. Subscribe to my members only, and you guys will be the first to know what motor, because I'm going to be posting that pretty soon. And it's a really awesome build, so I would definitely check it out. If you want to follow this build, subscribe and watch the videos. And I also have a playlist I'll link right here that, you know, goes through the build of this car. Me and this car has been through a lot, so see you guys in the next one. Peace.